Hi Stampers, welcome back. Today is day 4 of my Perennial Lavender collection tutorials. It's Painted Lavender stamp sets, and it is the Perennial postage stamp set, and they both have coordinating dies. Today we're going to use some of that beautiful paper. I love this one. We haven't used the greens yet. This is a combination of Pretty Peacock and Shaded Spruce and Lost Lagoon, and we're going to use that today. And I'm very excited because we're going to do a lot of stamping, simple stamping. So let me show you today's card. So here it is. So I'm also using the Excellent Eggs die. I used the largest egg die, and we have the Softly Sophisticated embossing folder, and there's that pretty paper. But look at that pretty stamping. Oh, it's so much fun, you guys. I can't wait to share it with you. So let's get started. I have a card base of Very Vanilla, and inside I have a piece of Pretty Peacock and Very Vanilla. And for the front, I have a piece of Pretty Peacock. You'll see there's a hole there, but that's not going to matter because we're going to cover it up with that pretty Designer Series paper. And then I have another scrap or a piece of Pretty Peacock. Then I went ahead and I took a piece of Very Vanilla, and I took the second largest postage die, and I just cut that piece out. So that's that one right there. And then I have the largest Excellent Eggs die, and I cut out an Easter egg. And then I have a scrap for our sentiment. So let's start off with our stamping. This is so much fun. You're going to love it. I'm going to bring in a scrap sheet. I'm also going to use my blending brushes. And I have lots of different colors that we're going to be using. So I have Berry Burst, Fresh Freesia, Shaded Spruce, Pretty Peacock, Parakeet Party, and Gorgeous Grape. So don't worry about the supplies I'm using or the sizes or the shopping links. You can always go back and find my project sheet on my blog, which is stampinshout.blogspot.com. Just look for the words project sheet. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in Fresh Freesia, and I'm going to just use my blending brush and go all over the Easter egg with the Fresh Freesia. So that's how I started off, and I really didn't think it looked all that great with the green colors. So then I brought in my Lost Lagoon. So hang on, let's get that going. And you'll notice whenever I ink up my blending brush, I kind of dab it over to the side, because if you go right on here, you get a real harsh spot. So you can always add more, but I just like to start off like this. I think I'm just going to add a little bit more of the Fresh Freesia. You could also do this with Highland Heather. It looks pretty with Highland Heather too. Okay, I think that's good. See that up close. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in some of the Painted Lavender flower images. So I'm going to use this leaf right here. I'm going to use that in Parakeet Party. We're going to use this right here, and that's going to be in Pretty Peacock. We're going to use the little flowers here, and that will be in Fresh Freesia. We're going to use that skinny stem, and that's going to be in Shaded Spruce. And we're going to use this thinner flower stem, and we're going to do that in Gorgeous Grape. And we're going to do the butterflies in Berry Burst. So I started off with the flowers, and this is Pretty Peacock. So I did 2 flowers there at the bottom, and then I'm going to bring in Parakeet Party and do my leaves. I think I actually did the leaves first when I started this, but we'll see how this works when I do it second. So I did a tall leaf over on the left side, and another one over here on the right, a little bit shorter. Okay, and then I brought in the stem and Shaded Spruce. And I put a stem right there, kind of off to the center, just like that. And then I brought in fresh freesia, and I brought in the little flower stamp. It's got four flowers on it. And I kind of just lined it up on that stem, just like that. Actually, I put one more. What I did was I cleaned off my stamp, and I just inked up one of the flowers, and I put one more flower, just like that. Okay, then I brought in Gorgeous Grape, and I brought in the skinny little flower stamp, and I just inked up the top, just the very top, maybe about an inch and a quarter. Just inked it up like that. And then I put little sprigs here and there in my scene. Really is pretty in person. And then I added my butterflies, and I did those in Berry Burst, just like that. Okay, so let's bring this piece in. And again, I said that's the second largest postage die. And I put my egg on here, and I wanted to cut it down. So let me show you how I did that. So all I did was line this up. I just moved it down a little bit. And you can, it fits right in the little grooves. Just want to make sure it's the right size for my egg. Okay, it is. So again, I'm cutting off maybe, I'm going down to maybe the third one. I'm cutting off about a ½ inch. So all I'm going to do, this is all lined up. I can feel it's in the groove of the die. And I'm just going to run it through my machine and cut off this part. I'm just going to run it through and run it back. I'm not going to go all the way through. I'm just going to run it over just till that top piece gets cut off. And I'll be right back. So again, I just ran it through till I heard it click, and then I ran it back. I didn't run it all the way through. And there you go. I cut it off. So you can make those dies the size that you need. You don't have to use them as they are. So I hope you like that little tip, because I find it very handy. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this piece down, and I will have the sizes again exactly what they are on my in my project sheet, but I am cutting it down to about 3 1/4 by 4. I'm going to trim it just a little bit more because I just want just a very slight border around it. So it's probably going to be about 3 7/8. Yep, perfect. Now I'm going to run this through the Softly Sophisticated embossing folder and give it some pretty texture. I'll be right back. I love that folder. It's really pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to glue our embossed piece to our little layer, and I'm going to glue our Pretty Designer Series to the Pretty Peacock layer, and it's a very, very tiny border. So let me do that real quick, and remember I fast forward so you don't have to go anywhere. Okay, I can go ahead and glue the large piece to the card front, and this one I'm going to pop up on dimensionals, and I'm also going to pop the egg up on dimensionals. So I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, now I'm going to bring in the scrap, and I'm going to bring back in Pretty Peacock, and I'm going to stamp our sentiment, which is thinking of you. Okay, I'm going to fussy cut that out, and then I'm going to glue it right on the bottom of the egg there. Okay, just like that. So the secret of fussy cutting is just to cut really deep in your scissors and move the paper and around. I just jig-jagged a little bit, and then it came out just like that, real quick and easy. Now I'm going to glue that down. And I like that sentiment with this card because it's real thin and real delicate, and it doesn't take away from the garden scene. It's very delicate, very subtle. But there's the front of our card. And inside, I am going to make this a Easter card. I wanted to mention that if you don't want to create this card using the egg shape, you could use an oval shape if you have it, or you could use a circle, or you could use another square, any kind of shape in there. But like I said, I'm going to make this into an Easter card. I think it's very unique, kind of different. And so I'm going to stamp Happy Easter, and I'm going to stamp that in Pretty Peacock. And I think I will just keep it simple inside, but I'm going to stamp a couple of pretty butterflies. Very pretty. I like that. I'm so excited. I love this card. So I'm going to glue this to the inside of the card, and then we'll talk about it, okay? Don't go anywhere. Okay, there's the card. Isn't it pretty? Wish you could see it in person. It's really pretty. Now, if you wanted, you could, of course, add the little purple gems. I think I'm going to leave mine plain because it's just so pretty, just like it is. I love it. So if you are new to stamping and you don't have a Stampin' Up! Coach or a demonstrator, I'm here for you. I'd love to chat and assist you with all your stamping needs. But if you like today's card, go ahead and share it with your friends. Don't keep it a secret. Your support helps my channel grow, and I really appreciate it. If you like the card, leave me some comments. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe. And everyone, make sure you click that notification bell. That way you'll know whenever I'm making a new video. And I will see you next time. Don't be shy. Stamp and shout.